Now, in my library, I have, amongst all my plethora of books, I also really like to get my hands on older periodicals because typically when I'm running down information about UFO topics or things like that, sometimes you know a lot of these older periodicals, obviously nobody thought the internet was coming along, so there's a lot of things now. Boy, if they could go back and scrub it, they definitely would. And this is one of those things. This is Mechanics Illustrated magazine. This is from March of 1956. And as you can see from the delightful cover art there, that's it says, U.S. Air Force reveals our flying saucers. So let's get right to it. And that article, it just jumps right into the technology here. And the whole article is about how flying saucers, don't freak out. These are basically new high technology, you know, secret weapons of the United States Air Force, and pretty soon they're going to be the big thing. And it has a pretty good explanation of the Coanda effect, which is a weird phenomenon of air flowing over like a dome shaped, or that's one of the ways you can get a disc shaped kind of craft like that to fly by vectoring that thrust, if I'm saying that right. So anyway, I find these especially amusing because when you start reading a lot of these older periodicals that address flying saucers and aerial phenomenon like this, especially when they're coming at it from this angle, you can't help but wonder if somebody realized early on that the technology of, you know, flying discs or whatever was such that it had provided a much better psychological warfare tool than an actual tool of armed conflict. And it seems like that shift occurred probably in the mid-50s or so, early to mid-50s, because I have a lot of periodicals from that period where you see a visible shift over from, you know, flying saucers are very prosaic, you know, advanced aircraft, but they are very much a terrestrial thing. And then shifting over to, holy cow, I think these are from outer space. And then everybody just pretended this stuff wasn't out there already. So I have a fair amount of older periodicals like this in my collection. One of them that I mentioned in my video about Paul Benowitz, I show some pictures from an old Look magazine that I think was also around this era of like 56 or so, that's saying very much the same thing, that they were planning on building underground hangars and vertical takeoff saucer-shaped aircraft that would replace fighter planes. And the kind of my working hypothesis with that is that some of that stuff did not lend itself to as effective weaponry as they had hoped, and instead it became more of a psychological weapon. So anyway, just my thoughts on that, but as I come across some of this stuff, I will put it out there. But again, that's Mechanics Illustrated from 1956, from March of 1956.